4. Glory of self-realization. Janaka said, "Oh yes, but then the one who is established in the real self acts only through the pure enjoyment of a show which is mere play. That's not the same as the confused bewilderment of ego-laden personalities, like beasts of burden drawing carts which overflow with worldly happenings. It is that state which all our faculties, all energies and powers, themselves inherently inadequate, keep striving to attain. Once it is reached, even the yogi standing there no longer needs to press for heightened states of bliss. Whoever knows it is at heart uncompromised by good or ill, just as the space-pervading sky is not made itself, made bright or dull by tricks of light on mist and cloud, although our eyes show it to be. To those whose greatness lies within, all that's perceived throughout the world is known as only one's own self. In such a state, just who or what is there that could at all prevent one's living moved from one's own self and acting of one's own accord? Among the whole community of beings that have come to be, right from the all-creating Lord down to the smallest tuft of grass, it's only one who rightly knows that has the fitness to stand free of being pulled by what is liked or pushed away by what repels. It's very rare that self is known without a second, as the source from which all power and guidance comes to form the seeming world of change. Where one's own self is rightly known, from there one does what one finds fit, quite unafraid of anything. 5. 4 ways to dissolution. ASHTAVAKRA said, "For you there is no attachment found which mixes you with anything that is apart from your own self. What then can you, who are thus put, wish to renounce from what you are? Accordingly, dissolve away this complex mix of different things, and thus get merged back in again to your unmixed reality. From you arises all the world like bubbles rising out from sea. Accordingly, know all of them as just one self, and thus get merged there in your own reality. Although the world appears before our faculties of sense, it is produced from unreality. It is not truly there in you, who are its pure reality. It's like the semblance of a snake appearing quite confusedly, when just a rope has been perceived. Take note of this, and thus get merged back into what you really are. You are that being which is perfect, just the same in grief and joy, the same in hope and in despair, the same in living as in dying. Only thus, as perfect being, may you come to be dissolved." 6. The higher knowledge. Janaka said, "Like all-pervading space and time, I carry on unlimited. It's only nature acting forth that seems to show itself confined in seeming parts of changing world, each like the space within a pot. Where this is rightly understood as knowing truly in itself, there's nothing to be given up, nor is there anything that needs to be perceived and taken in, nor anything to be dissolved. Just what I am is like an ocean manifested as a wave, that is this seeming universe. Where this is rightly understood as knowing truly in itself, there's nothing to be given up, nor is there anything that needs to be perceived and taken in, nor anything to be dissolved. I am like silver, wrongly thought to be perceived in shell of pearl, which is this fancied universe. Where this is rightly understood as knowing truly in itself, there's nothing to be given up, nor is there anything that needs to be perceived and taken in, nor anything to be dissolved. I am myself in every being, and all beings are in me. Where this is rightly understood as knowing truly in itself, there's nothing to be given up, nor is there anything that needs to be perceived and taken in, nor anything to be dissolved." 7. Nature of self-realization. Janaka said, "In me, as in an ocean that is limitless, the ship of world gets tossed about, blown here and there by my own mind of inner mind, though all the while just what I am remains completely undisturbed. In me, as in an ocean that is limitless, The world is only name conceived by mind alone. I am thus utterly at peace, unmixed with any made-up form. In this alone do I abide. Just what self is cannot be found in objects that have come to be, nor is there any object in just that pure self which is unmarked and utterly unlimited, beyond all stain of compromise. Thus unattached, desireless, true self is found at perfect peace. In this alone do I abide. I am in truth pure consciousness. The changing world is an entangled web of show, effectively made up by many tricky faculties of seeming sense and mind. So how and where can any thought of mind tell what is right from wrong? What properly distinguishes for me what to reject as wrong from what I rightly may accept? 8. Bondage and liberation. ASHTAVAKRA said, "It is in bondage that some mind feels want or grief for anything. That mind rejects what it dislikes, but likes some things and takes them in. It is in freedom that no want nor any grief is felt by mind. For then mind does not feel constrained by what it likes and must accept, nor else by what it does not like and must accordingly reject. For then mind does not feel constrained by what it likes and must accept, nor else by what it does not like and must accordingly reject. It is in bondage that some mind is felt attached to any of these many things that seem perceived. It is in freedom that no mind is felt attached to anything, in all these things that seem perceived. When there is no thought of I attached to anything that seems perceived, then liberation is attained. But when the thought of I appears, it's felt constrained by circumstance, in bondage to an alien world. Reflecting thus, you come at last to just that spontaneity, where nothing need be taken in, nor anything needs pushing out." 9. Detachment. ASHTAVAKRA said, "To whom belongs what has been done, or has not been accomplished yet? When are such oppositions all resolved? Where are they put to rest? By knowing thus you may proceed from your indifferent ignorance to be intent upon renouncing and thus getting disengaged. It's only someone truly rich whose wish for living, for enjoying and for getting information has been stilled from an astute discernment of the ways of the world. All this that's found impermanent gets visited in 3 ways. It lacks in substance, brings on blame. It's what we need to put aside. By getting to be sure of this, one may attain to lasting peace." Just at what time or age in life are opposites no longer found to trouble people in the world? It's when these troubling oppositions are left behind that someone comes to be rest fulfilled, content with what occurs of its own happening. Great seers and saints and yogis teach through many different beliefs. When this is noticed, who of us could reasonably not attain to that detached indifference where peace and harmony are found? Where someone has achieved in full right knowledge of pure consciousness, what is that someone but a teacher, taking, through impartial reason, those who truly seek beyond the cyclic process of rebirth? Just see each transformed element as that which all these elements are always in themselves alone. Then from that instant you will stand completely free and unconstrained in that one truth of your own nature, which is what you always are. It's only inner inclination that makes up a changing world of happenings which seem outside. Considering this, it is just these conditionings within your mind from which you need to be free yourself. Renunciation of the world can only come from giving up mind's inclination from within. But that achievement, here and now, you stand where you are always free, no matter in what circumstance. 10. Quietude. ASHTAVAKRA said, "Forsaking as an enemy all wish and want for object things, you must give up the narrowness of petty personal desire. So also you must give up wealth, whose store of wanted objects comes inevitably mixed with loss. And you will even have to go beyond all valued principles that cause our sense of gain or loss and drive our personal desires. It's in this way that you transcend desire, wealth, morality. Thus you attain to your own self, disinterested everywhere. See wealth and property and gifts, and even friends and family, and other such good fortune as entanglements of fantasy, within a show that's made by mind. This made-up show can never last, as mind keeps changing all the time. Wherever there may be desire, there is also found a world, made up of restless happenings that change and pass in course of time. You need to know this for yourself. Attaining to mature dispassion, may you find that you are free from want for objects of desire, wished by thoughts and restless mind. For in that freedom you have come to lasting peace and happiness. It's only of the mind's desire that all our bondage has been made. Thus freedom is a word that's used where wish and want are found destroyed. It's only by detachment from the world of change and happening that anyone may come to joy, which somehow lasts repeatedly through changing moments in our minds. You are the one pure consciousness always found indivisible. The world that's seen is found inert. It is dead matter, lacking life, a show of blind unconsciousness that is accordingly unreal. This is not even ignorance, but then for you, what can there be that you may somehow wish to know? What meaning is there in this wish, that you should somehow like to know? What's true and real in the world, shown made of objects seen outside? So many kingdoms, sons and wives and bodies, pleasures have been lost, destroyed for you, although you were attached to them birth after birth. Enough of riches or desires, or even actions rightly done. By these mind does not come to peace here in the jungle of the world. How many births have you not done, with body and with mind and speech? This labored work that brings you grief. It's these encumbered acts of work that, here and now, you need to cease.